Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my live videos, and on this video there is lots to negotiate about, so there is lots of topics to delve into. So I am going to start with, by giving you an update on some of Arsenal's transfer news. Then a bit later on in the video, I am going to be giving you a bit more additional information on Jadon Sancho, because there's huge developments on Jadon Sancho, and I have been keeping you up to date of what's been going on with Jadon Sancho on a regular basis. Also, going to be giving you a bit more additional information on Jack Grealish. Then a bit later on then, I am going to be talking with you a bit more about Marcus Rashford. So they're the topics I am going to delve into. So let's start with some of Arsenal's transfer news, because I haven't spoken with you about Arsenal for a while. So Arsenal have got one player on their agenda, and it's Thomas Partey from Atletico Madrid. Now Arsenal have been relentlessly linked with him. I think they have been in negotiations over signing Thomas Partey at least for the last couple of months. Now, I think it got reported out recently that Thomas Partey's agent has denied talks with Arsenal. Now, it's actually, totally contrast that, to what his actual father is saying, and this is Thomas Partey's father, because he's actually, said that Arsenal are in talks with Atletico Madrid over signing Thomas Partey. And he's actually, also advised his son to leave Atletico Madrid. Now, Thomas Partey has given his overarching view on this, and he's actually denied rumours of a move to Arsenal. Now, don't forget, my club, Manchester United, have been in for him before, and I think a few other clubs have been in for Thomas Partey. Now, I think Atletico Madrid are doing everything they can to try and convince Thomas Partey to stay. I think, they are trying to get him a new contract. Now, as it stands at the moment, Thomas Partey has got around, is it a £47 million release clause in his contract with Atletico Madrid. Now, if he is to sign a new contract with Atletico Madrid, his release clause will be around £93 million. Now, I think Thomas Partey, has he got a contract with Arsenal? Is it until, with Atletico, sorry, is it until 2022 or 2023, if I'm right? He is in his mid-20s, I think he's like, is he 25 or 26 years of age? He has spent, is it the vast majority of his career with Atletico Madrid, and he has made over 150 appearances for them in all competitions as the player. I think it's in all competitions he's made over 150 appearances, and he is predominantly a holding midfielder. So yeah, so he's one player on Arsenal's agenda. There's also quite a few other players on Arsenal's agenda. But I think, for Arsenal to get Thomas Partey on the board, I think obviously, they're going to have to sell Lacazette, and they are planning to sell Lacazette to get Thomas Partey on the board. But reiterate what I've mentioned on my videos before, Atletico Madrid, don't forget, lost Griezmann last summer. They did generate a lot of money for his departure. Atletico Madrid did get around, was it 120 million euros, which equates to around 108 million in pounds sterling. I think also too, Diego Godin left. There again, though, Atletico Madrid, did recruit quite a few players in. Obviously, they got Joe Felix for £113 million, who was the fourth most expensive signing in the world. I think they also got Kieran Trippier. They got, obviously, Thomas Lemar from Monaco. Obviously, they got Alvaro Morata and Diego Costa. Was that last summer, or was it, the summer before? But it was in recent years, if it wasn't last summer, when they got Diego Costa and Alvaro Morata. But yeah, so maybe, Thomas Partey, could be going to Arsenal. But I think they have been in negotiations, with his agent for quite some time. But his agent has denied talks with Arsenal. So that actually, could be lies, to be quite honest with you. But I think a lot of people would have updated you on this narrative regarding Thomas Partey. But obviously, Arsenal, want to get back dominating football again, like they did do, when they had Wenger. Obviously, like I mentioned, Arsenal had Arsene Wenger for 22 years. So he was a long-serving manager. And like I said before, I made the admission, I think Wenger enjoyed a good 12, 13 years out of the 22 years he was there, so that's an admission I've got to make. I do think, Arsene Wenger did leave too late, because let's be honest, he did leave a lot of dead wood behind. But I also want to get back to how there was in the early days under Wenger, don't forget, they are only the team to go undefeated in the Premier League era in one season, because don't forget they went on, like, was it a 49 or 50 match unbeaten run, and that was back in 2004, which was around 16 years ago now. So let's just put that into the equation. Arsenal, of course, are the most successful team in FA Cup history, because they have won 13 FA Cups. So yeah. But yeah, and obviously, Mikel Arteta, obviously, I think when he's got appointed in as Arsenal manager, didn't he sign like a 3.5 year deal, if I can remember rightly. I think Arsenal, will stick with Mikel Arteta. Don't forget, it is a transition period for Arsenal, because don't forget they are on their third manager this season. Mikel Arteta is their third manager this season. Of course, before they had Mikel Arteta, they had Freddie Ljungberg. He was there on a temporary basis. And before then, they had Unai Emery, who enjoyed 18 months with Arsenal. But, like I said, before the football season that got suspended, I thought Arsenal really, really improved, to be quite honest with you. And I said, they look much better under Mikel Arteta's guidance, you know. Obviously, Arsenal have made a couple of signings under Mikel Arteta. Of course, revert back to the January transfer window. They did sign Pablo Mari from Flamengo. I don't think yet Mikel Arteta has made a permanent signing, so he's looking to make his first permanent signing when the transfer window reopens, and they'll be hopeful that it will be Thomas Partey. But yeah, I think they got him on loan, Pablo Mari from Flamengo. Arsenal, I think, do have the option to make the loan deal permanent. Whether they do or not, I do not know. But I don't think he's made a fantastic start to his Arsenal career as Pablo Mari. And he is a centre-half predominantly. Also, too, they got Cedric Soares in the January transfer window. They got him on loan, I think, from Southampton. I think he is a right-back, is Cedric Soares. So, yeah, that's who they got in January. And obviously, they recruited quite a few players in last summer under Unai Emery. Don't forget, they got Kieran Tierney in for £25 million, did Arsenal. He sustained quite a few injuries throughout the course of this season. He's predominantly a left back, is Kieran Tierney. They also got Dani Ceballos in on loan from Real Madrid. Maybe Arsenal will be getting Dani Ceballos on a permanent transfer, because they have got insufficient funds to get him on a permanent transfer. Also, too, they got David Luiz in for £8 million, did Arsenal. William Saliba's also coming in. He's going to be joining Arsenal when the transfer market does reopen, because they got him from St Etienne, didn't they? Don't forget. Also, too, they got Nicolas Pepe last summer for £70 million. He's one of Arsenal's most expensive signings. Didn't enjoy a fantastic start to his Arsenal career, but I've got to say before the football season got suspended, he really, really improved. A lot of aspects of his game improved, but Nicolas Pepe was a very, very good player at Lille. So they got Nicolas Pepe in. So they got a good 5, players in or something like that last summer, did Arsenal. So they got Tierney in, Luiz, Saliba, Ceballos and Nicolas Pepe. That's who they got under the Unai Emery era. Obviously, Arsenal have lost quite a few of their players in recent years. I think, was it last summer, Danny Welbeck left them. Also, too, Koscielny left them. Lichtsteiner left them. Was it in the summer of 2019, which was last summer? They lost Aaron Ramsey on a free transfer after he enjoyed like 11 years or something with Arsenal. Obviously, Alexis Sanchez left them back in January 2018. I think, Arsenal did make a bad mistake by getting rid of Alexis Sanchez. Of course, Sanchez enjoyed 3.5 or was it 4 years with Arsenal. Of course, he left, to join us as part of a swap deal of Mkhitaryan, of course, joining Arsenal. So lost quite a few players in recent years. And, Arsenal, will want to make around probably 2 or 3 signings at least when the transfer market does reopen, because next season they'll hope for a better season, that they've enjoyed this season, because I think now as it stands, they're sitting like 9th in the Premier League and they are 8 points behind Chelsea at Arsenal. And of course, they're not in the Europa League. Didn't they get knocked out by Olympiacos, if I'm right? But they want to get back dominating football again, just like my club do, Manchester United. We want to get back dominating football again. But there won't only be incoming. Arsenal won't only expect incomings when the transfer market reopens. Players will also believe in Arsenal, because there's been a lot of rumours emerging now earlier on in the season, saying that Arsenal could sell Lacazette, Mesut Ozil, and also too they could sell Aubameyang. By the way, I think Ozil has received a lot of criticism recently, because obviously, don't forget, he refused to take a pay cut on his wages, because quite a lot of football players' wages have been cut, because obviously, they've been donating to the NHS. I think quite a lot of players' wages have been cut by around 30%. There was talks of Ozil's wages getting cut by only 12.5%, but he's actually refused this as Mesut Ozil. Mesut Ozil's been a long-serving player for Arsenal now. I think he's now into his 7th season with them. I think Arsenal did get him from Real Madrid, but he is on around 350 grand a week. Is he Arsenal's highest paid player or one of their highest paid players? But yeah, he has received a lot of criticism for that. But yeah, players are going to be leaving Arsenal when the transfer market does reopen, definitely. So them 3 players could be leaving. But, Arsenal will generate quite a bit of money, if they can get rid of them 3 players. And I have been talking with you about Aubameyang on a regular basis, haven't I? Now, like I said to you yesterday, he said, that Chelsea had expressed an interest in Patrick-Emerick Aubameyang. Also, too, my club Manchester United have expressed an interest in him. Real Madrid and also too Barcelona have been relentlessly linked with Patrick-Emerick Aubameyang. Aubameyang is expected to leave Arsenal, but I think when he leaves Arsenal, I don't think he'll continue applying his trade in the Premier League. I think he'll either go to Real Madrid or he will go to Barcelona. Now, of course, Arsenal have done everything they can, to try and convince Aubameyang, to sign a new deal with them. But now Arsenal have come to accept the fact that Aubameyang wants to leave and he wants to rejuvenate his career. So that means in that aspect, Arsenal would rather cash in for him in the summer transfer market, rather than let him go on a free transfer in the summer of 2021. Now, Aubameyang is valued at around £50 million. That's what he's valued at. But he said, I think a couple of weeks ago, that Arsenal have dropped their asking price. And they said, they will let him go in the £30 million range. So it said they'll probably accept around £35 million for Aubameyang, even though he's probably worth double £35 million. Now, Aubameyang has been at Arsenal for over 2 years. Of course, Arsenal, did pay around £56 million for him from Borussia Dortmund back in January 2018. So he's actually one of Arsenal's most expensive signings. I think Arsenal's most expensive signing is Nicolas Pepe. But Aubameyang has 49 Premier League goals in 75 appearances since his arrival at Arsenal, and he's got 61 goals for them in all competitions. Very, very good player. He is 30 years of age now, is Aubameyang, so he is in his early 30s. He is predominantly a central striker, but you can also put him out wide. But he's definitely one of Arsenal's best players. I'd take him at Manchester United if we got the opportunity to get him in. And like I said, he's a cheap solution. I thought he also enjoyed a good, 5 or 6 years when he was at Dortmund. He played for Monaco and St Etienne when he was younger. He also played for Lille, and I think he began his career his senior career in Italy with Milan. So, yeah. So, and I think, they could get quite a bit for Lacazette as well, don't forget. Unless he's, he could actually, be part of a swap deal of Partey going to Arsenal, Lacazette possibly, going to Atletico Madrid, But, if they sell them 3 players, Arsenal, of course, they will get quite a bit of money for their departures. There's a few other players on Arsenal's agenda, don't forget they have been in for Daya Upamecano for quite a long time, because Arsenal are in search for a centre-half. I think, they're planning to put someone alongside William Saliba, when he does come in from St Etienne. I know they've got a few centre-halves now. They've got Luis and Pablo Marie. But when they signed David Luiz last summer, it wasn't their first choice. But Arsenal just saw it as that, it was a cheap solution. So let's just put that into the equation. So there's a few areas in Arsenal's squad that do need to be strengthened up. And don't forget, Arsenal have been in for James Rodriguez before. Don't forget they inquired about his availability. So, be interesting to see, how Arsenal approach the market when it does reopen. So, yeah, so they are looking to get Thomas Partey on the board. So, he could be, Arsenal's first signing when the transfer market does reopen. So that's the latest news on some of the Arsenal's transfer news. So now let's delve into the news on Jadon Sancho. So the news is on Jadon Sancho. Now Borussia Dortmund are convinced that they can. Well, Borussia Dortmund believe that they can convince Jadon Sancho to stay at Borussia Dortmund because Borussia Dortmund are reportedly willing to give him a 1-year contract worth around £9 million a year. So they believe by doing this, it can convince Jadon Sancho to remain loyal to them. If Jadon Sancho was to sign this new 1-year contract, it would make him Borussia Dortmund's second highest paid player, just behind Marco Reus, because Marco Reus is Borussia Dortmund's highest paid player at the moment. So this is what Borussia Dortmund are willing to do. Now, of course, like I updated you recently, it did say we're actually convinced that we can get Jadon Sancho for half the transfer fee, than what Borussia Dortmund are demanding. So probably at least around 52 or 53 million pounds. This is, what it had said, but it actually, said from the Daily Express yesterday that Borussia Dortmund have slashed their asking price for Jadon Sancho. But it's coming out of quite a few media outlets now saying, that Jadon Sancho, could sign a 1-year contract extension with Borussia Dortmund. Now, we've been relentlessly linked with Jadon Sancho. Like I said, we already know how much he's going to cost us, and he's going to cost us at least £100 million. Or, £120 million. But either figure is going to make him a record signing in the Premier League. He's going to make him our most expensive signing. And he's going to make him the most expensive player in British history. Borussia Dortmund, like I said, do remain ruthless over their valuation. Now, there hasn't only been us that have been in for Jadon Sancho. Obviously, Chelsea have been in for him. I don't think Chelsea are no longer in for him now because I think they've come to accept the fact that he'll probably be coming to Man United. So they're trying to get Coutinho. I gave you the news on that yesterday night, didn't I? But, Jadon Sancho did reveal that he is a lifelong Chelsea fan. This is what, he did reveal. And also, too, Madrid were in for him. I don't think Real Madrid are no longer in for him now, though. PSG have been in for Jadon Sancho before, but Jadon Sancho has revealed his preference, and his preference is a move to Manchester United if he is to leave Borussia Dortmund. And I did say to you, didn't I? There's a couple of beneficial things about us recommending Jadon Sancho in is that he's got a very, very good friendship with Marcus Rashford. And also, too, is well proven in the Premier League because before he was at Borussia Dortmund, he endured 2 years with Manchester City, but never got assured any first-team opportunities at Man City. And that's the main explanation why he left City to join Borussia Dortmund. Also, too, before he was at City, he was at Watford. So he began his senior career in London, and he was at Watford for several years. So they're the beneficial things about us recommending him in. And plus, Jadon Sancho is predominantly a right winner. And of course, Manchester United are in search for a right winner. And I think, Sancho would go well alongside the likes of Rashford and Anthony Martial and Greenwood in our attacking line. But obviously, like I updated you recently, there's some reports saying different things to others because it said from the German press recently that we've had no negotiations over signing Jadon Sancho, and it said, there's been no agreements with the player. But what it said on Monday was totally contrast to what it said recently because it said on Monday that we'd agreed terms with Jadon Sancho. So it said everything had been agreed with the player except the fee. So it said the length of Jadon Sancho's contract. his salary, his bonuses, and his buyout clause had all been agreed. The only thing that hadn't been agreed is the fee. Because we have been in negotiations with Jadon Sancho's agent, for quite some time now. And we've also been working on his contract. So let's just put that into the equation. I think he did say we're willing to offer Jadon Sancho around £200,000 a week. So that will make him, one of our highest paid players as well. And he'll get the exact same wages as Marcus Rashford. He said back in 2017, this is before Jadon Sancho joined Borussia Dortmund. It said, we were very, very close to getting Jadon Sancho at that point. But, Jadon Sancho is now into his third season at Borussia Dortmund. This is his third season with them. And I've got to say, since his arrival in Germany, he has been a revelation. Despite the fact he was dropped in quite a lot of games earlier on in the season. Jadon Sancho still under contract with Dortmund until 2022. Borussia Dortmund only paid £7 or £8 million to him from Man City. So if Dortmund do sell him, they are going to make a huge profit on the player. And he is only at the age of 20, is Sancho. But yeah, he's one of our priority targets for when the transfer market does reopen. So yeah, so there's a twist now in the Jadon Sancho transfer saga. Could he be staying at Dortmund at least for another season if they can convince him to sign this new one-year contract worth around £9 million per year? So let me know in the comments below. What do you think to it? Also got revealed last year that Borussia Dortmund inquired about getting Mason Greenwood. As a swap deal in selling Jadon Sancho. But, there you go. So that is the latest news on Jadon Sancho. So I just wanted to give you the latest news on that. Now, let's delve into news on Marcus Rashford. I do want to talk with you a bit more about Marcus Rashford. So, there's a lot of positivity coming out regarding Marcus Rashford because it has confirmed when the football season resumes, Marcus Rashford will be fully fit. Now, like I updated you the other day, I'm going to reiterate some of the stuff I mentioned the other day. Obviously, Rashford is training at home whilst on lockdown. Marcus Rashford, is obviously, finding it hard training at home. Obviously, his preference would be to train on the training ground, but he is training at home. And obviously, Rashford does want to regain full fitness. Now, Marcus Rashford has been out of a back injury since January the 14th, or is it January the 15th? Don't forget Rashford sustained this injury in our win against Wolves in the FA Cup third round replay, was it, if I can remember rightly? And Solskjaer made the wrong decision by playing Rashford in that game against Wolves. If he hadn't played him in that game, then his injury probably more than likely wouldn't have occurred. But like I said, it'll be good to see Marcus Rashford back when the football season does resume, because I think Rashford has been a big miss for Manchester United this season. Obviously, up until this point, Rashford has spent the entirety of his career with a football club. He's been a United player since the age of 7, and he's been in our senior squad since 2016. And since then, he's become an integral part of our team as Marcus Rashford. He's become an integral part of our team. Don't forget, scored on his debut against Midtjylland twice, on his Europa League debut that was. Scored twice on his Premier League debut against Arsenal. Scored on his international debut, scored in his first Manchester derby. This is when he broke into the senior squad back in 2016. He's enjoyed some difficult spells, don't get me wrong, as a Man United player, but, very, very good player is Marcus Rashford, and he is only at the age of 22. Rashford can play as a number 9, and he can also play out wide. I think, we'll be playing him out wide when he comes back from, his injury. We'll be playing Rashford out wide, because, he seems to play better when he's playing out wide. He seems to get the best out of Rashford when he's playing out wide, than rather than him, playing in the number 9. Of course, I think we should probably, put Rashford out wide and probably keep Anthony Martial centrally, because we can build a team, around Anthony Martial and all of that. So that's what, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will do. But I think Solskjaer made an admission saying, he prefers Rashford out wide because he scores more when he's playing out wide, does Rashford, to be quite honest with you. I think Rashford's got 19 goals this season in 31 games in all competitions for the football club. But yeah, definitely Rashford is the foreseeable future for Manchester United. Martial, I've also been very, very impressed with him, Anthony Martial. Of course, now he's into his 5th season at Manchester United. He's Martial. Of course, Martial's got, is it around 19 goals this season? Obviously, of course, before the football season that got suspended, Anthony Martial had rejuvenated himself and he was in a good vein of form, was Anthony Martial. But I think, we'll probably keep him in that number 9 role, even though he does predominantly play out wide on the left, because in Martial's 4 previous seasons, he has been playing out on the left-hand side. I think one of the best seasons Anthony Martial enjoyed was his debut season under the Louis van Gaal era. We paid £36 million for Martial, potentially rising up to 57 or 58 million based on goals and achievements, and we got Martial as a 19-year-old, don't forget. So, yeah. But revert back to what I said regarding Sancho. Us signing Sancho, there's been reports saying that Daniel James could be loaned out. But actually, James Cooper, who's a Sky Sports reporter, he disregarded this. He still believes James will remain at Man United even if we had to get Jadon Sancho in. And I think Daniel James has done very, very well for us. I've got to give him a hell of a lot of credit. I've been very, very impressed with Daniel James. Of course, he was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first signing. We got him in last summer from Swansea for £15 million. And done very, very well. Daniel James can play on the left. He can also play on the right. But, he's supposed to be more effective from that left-hand side, is Daniel James. Daniel James scored against Lask in the last game we played. That was his first goal for the club since the 31st of August, so he had ended his goal drought. And I think Daniel James is the foreseeable future for Manchester United. I really, really do. Odion Ighalo, he's another good attacking player we've got. It remains unknown yet, whether we're going to get Odion Ighalo on a permanent transfer. Solskjaer did make the admission saying it is likely that we're going to get him on a permanent transfer because Odion Ighalo has enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. He's got like 4 goals in 3 starts for the football club. We've got him on loan at the moment. We paid around 3 or 4 million to get him on loan, and we're paying like a third of his wages because his wages at Shanghai Shenhua are like £300,000 a week. But we haven't got him permanently yet. But I think Odion Ighalo's revealed that he wants to stay at the football club. I think it did say the other week that Ighalo's got to take around the £200,000 pay cut to, remain at Manchester United. But it confirmed, was it 3 or 4 weeks ago, that Shanghai Shenhua, his parent club, had offered him around £400,000 a week, plus a 2-year contract extension to convince him to turn down a permanent move to Manchester United and stuff like that. So this is, what it had said. But I think we'll probably get him permanently. It's been confirmed how much it'll cost us. It'll only cost us around £15 million to get Odion Ighalo in permanently in that. But yeah, there you go. But there's been other strikers in our agenda, so that could have been delaying us, getting Odion Ighalo permanently. But we'll probably extend his loan anyway, due to the coronavirus pandemic, because his current loan spell at the club ends on the 31st of May, does Odion Ighalo's. But good cover up to Rashford, like I mentioned, and he's an option of a different type of centre forward. Now the next topic I'm going to delve into is Jack Grealish. So the news is on Jack Grealish is that we have got a controversial plan for Jack Grealish. That's if Manchester United are to sign him when the transfer market does reopen. So, reportedly, we are planning to play Jack Grealish as a right winger if we are to sign him when the transfer market does reopen. Now, that's the wrong position because he's not predominantly a right winger, is Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish is predominantly an attacking midfielder. Well, actually, throughout the course of this season, Jack Grealish has been playing on the left wing. Now, we do know how much Jack Grealish is going to cost the football club. It's going to cost us at least £70 million, or we could end up paying £80 million. This is if Villa avoid relegation, but if Aston Villa are to be relegated, then he wouldn't cost as much as 70 or £80 million. Maybe you could get him for like £40 or £50 million, maybe even cheaper than that. But obviously, there's been quite a few clubs that have been in for Jack Grealish. Everton have recently expressed their interest. Tottenham have been in for him. Don't forget, Tottenham were close to getting him in the summer of 2018. Man City have also been in for him. Man City have also been in for him and that. But I do expect Jack Grealish to leave Aston Villa when the transfer market does reopen. Even if Villa were to avoid relegation, I don't think that'd be enough to convince Grealish to stay. You've had recently Graham Souness giving his verdict on him, saying he'll go down the road like Jack Wilshere did. John Terry, he's come out and compared Jack Grealish to Eden Hazard, so he believes Jack Grealish is a very, very good player. But there you go. Obviously, reflect on the incident the other month with his £80,000 Range Rover. There was talks about him. There was talks saying that, the doubt Jack Grealish will make a move to Manchester United, or the doubt he will leave Aston Villa. But Jack Grealish has remained loyal to Aston Villa for several years. He's spent the entirety of his career so far with Aston Villa. He's been a Villa player since the age of 6. He's been in their senior squad since 2014. And since then, he's become an integral part of their team. I think he's made over 100 appearances for Villa, including the appearances he made when he was in the Championship. But Grealish was key for Villa getting promotion to the Premier League. He was key for them, progressing to the Carabao Cup final this season. Very, very, good player is Jack Grealish. But he is predominantly an attacking midfielder, only the age of 24. And we've already confirmed that he's our preference over James Maddison. Because James Maddison's been on our agenda, but I'd say now he's out of the equation because James Maddison's made an admission saying he wants to stay at Leicester and he sees his long-term future with Leicester. And, Jack Grealish, like I said, is a cheaper solution than Maddison. He was being in better form throughout the course of this season than Maddison, and he's more versatile than James Maddison. So let's just put that into the equation. Grealish has still got a contract with Villa until 2023 and that. But yeah, so reportedly we are planning, to use Jack Grealish as a right winner if he does come to Manchester United. So yeah, so that is the latest news and that. And of course, yesterday I kept you up to date of what's been going on with Pogba. I kept you up to date of what's been going on with Diego Dalot, because Diego Dalot is one of the players we could sell when the transfer market reopens. So there you go. And there's quite a lot of other topics I've updated you on. Like yesterday, I gave you news on Chelsea being linked with Coutinho. Of course, Liverpool have been in talks with Chelsea over getting Willian on a free transfer when his contract does expire. So, yeah, I've kept you up to date as much as I can. So, anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always. And take care, God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. And there'll be more videos coming up.